Esiet sveicināti, šis ir YouTube kanāls Bet-Safe Sports, mani sauc Jurija Žigajevs, un tas ir raidījums Tavs Gājiens. Man šodien viesos liels viesis no Itālijas, Latvijas nacionālās basketbola izlases galvenais treneris Luka Banki, un mēs šodien ar viņu aprunāsimies angļu valodā. Abiem tā nav dzimtā valoda, so we will speak in English. I hope you will understand me. My English is not so good. Thank you that you come here. I know that now you have a training camp for national team, preparing to qualification. So what's your written now? You have time to go to this program?
Yes, of course. Today is finally our day off, our first day off after a long week. Pretty stressed because most of the guys, they just came back in the activity. Weather are not helping us
for
because
training.
yes, it's practice into the gym without air conditioning is very stressed. First week, as you know, in preparation usually is a week where you tend to create a volume for the team because we want to be ready to perform in August when we will start official games. And then next week will be good to adjust, but was a pretty good first week despite some problems who impede certain players to perform and to participate.
About basketball we will talk later, but you are from Italy. Now Italy is number one in the football. Tell us how in Italy, Italian people was surprised with this golden medal and cup, or Italy always is waiting from national team only first place?
Yes. Of course, as you know very well, in Italy, expectation for the football are always very high. People expect Juventus to win trophies, to win Champions League, a national team, to win World Cup, European Championship, and so on. The football culture is very strong, very high. To tell you the truth, this team attract many people because what they did in the last 3 years convince most of the Italians that we were very competitive. This year, the level in the European Championship was not that good, that high, for many different reasons. But of course, COVID, I believe, affect a lot the quality of the teams. And Italy impose his style, his way to play football, the philosophy of the new coach, and was very nice to watch. And everybody was super happy to support the team and, of course, to celebrate. And after the final was crazy, the way all the country respond, going on the places, on the street, celebrating. But it's not an easy job, as I told you, because in Italy everybody believe to know the recipe. Everybody believe to be the best coach for the national team. Everybody believe to know the names and way to play.
In Italy is 40 or, I don't know, population or 50 million coaches, yes?
Exactly. National team coaches. National team coaches.
Where is the secret? Because Italy wasn't like number one leader on prediction before championship.
Yeah, I believe ranking was built around the previous results. But for the people who really knows football like you, it was easy to predict the Italian win because we have the right mix between the experience of some players who represent the core of the team, like for example Bonucci and Chiellini, but they on the court. Sirigu is a leader off the court. But on the court, those experienced guys who gave the consistency to the team, and then a new generation of talented players, very talented players, like Verratti, like Immobile,
Chiesa.
like Chiesa. There are several, Jorginho, and we never had such talented players playing together thanks to a coach who was able to adjust and adapt his style and his philosophy to such talented players. So the final result was perfect. And we understood since the beginning, 3 years ago, that team has something special inside.
This is most attacking Italy national team, what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, despite that always was Totti, Baggio, Del Piero, good attacking players, but like a team, this was like most attacking.
Yeah, it's a different approach. They want to impose their style. They tend to attack. They use, they used to play both hands because also the defensive part, as I told you, the consistencies was around, this new generation goalkeeper that is amazing. Donnarumma, it's easy to predict that will be number one in the world pretty fast.
Yeah.
Buffon is a big legacy, but Donnarumma is a top level player. He combined talent with size, body, athleticism, and everything. This core of defensive player, there are some new ads like Spinazzola who surprised everybody.
I didn't know him before. Even.
But I tell you the truth, there are players that because I'm okay with football, but not so crazy with football.
No, you speak like...
No, but I saw players like the guy from Atalanta performing so great with the national team, and I expect some kind of emotion, you know. Playing national team, playing in such a high level, no matter. They played with great personality. And that's a big lesson also for me now in this new position as a coach of a national team. After a long experience with clubs, moving a national team, you have to change a little bit the perspective to select players. And players' personality probably is the main reason to select your squad.
Personality, not quality, you want to say.
Not only quality,
but
also personality, because the team was a perfect combination, as I told you. From one side, consistency because of the experience. From other side, continuity because they select a skilled player with great personality who doesn't care at all. You saw which kind of approach they had, despite, we talk about players who approach for the first time in their career a high-level competition, maybe playing in a team who doesn't used to play Champions League. No matter.
But from the side, there was like feeling this team spirit, this team sing national anthem. Like everybody loved this, before game. So it was always like this, or it's Mancini?
It is. No. It is. We have a pretty strong sense of belonging. It's a great honor to be part of the national team. We know what represent all around the world, where the azzurro uniform. Everybody knows when we talk about azzurri, everybody knows what it means. For example, players, they don't like to play with the second uniform that is white. Or the third that is green. They want to play blue. Because azzurro is the real color for Italy. And the next point is connected with the concept of squadra. That's another word who became famous worldwide.
This is team.
Is team. Squadra is team. And so if you ask all around the world and you talk about squadra azzurra, everybody knows what it means. So when you want to give a definition of a solid squad who works together, who play with great unity and great sense of belonging, you tend to say, hey, we have to be a squadra azzurra, For me, it was nice to hear traveling around the world because my job gave me the opportunity to travel, especially through Europe, but also overseas. Everybody has this opinion about the Italian national team, no matter of the sport, Also, if we talk about basketball, volleyball, but when we talk about team, we talk about squadra.
Squadra azzurra.
Exactly.
10-15 minutes we speak only about football with basketball coach. So next question is how it's possible that you became a basketball player coach in Italy, not football?
It's, more or less the same story. I have my brother and my sister that are older than me, 3 and 6 years older than me. They start to play basketball. My parents, they really liked the environment. They really believed that was good for their kids to play basketball. They found a good situation for kids to grow, and was pretty normal for me to go in basketball. I realized pretty soon that I was okay, that I have fun, I enjoy. I work very hard to become a pro player. I was not that skilled, that gifty to become a pro player. And I have to tell you the truth. The key was one of my ex-coaches who saw some tools in my personality to become a coach. And he's the guy who suggests me to participate in classes.
Which age?
18.
Oh, it's
pretty soon. And I continue to play and coach youth programs. And then at the age of 22, 23 was my first opportunity to leave my city and move in another city only because of coaching. And it was a pretty unexpected process. At 31, 32, I was already pro coach in first division.
Of course, because many former players only in this age only finish his career, but you also already 10 years working.
Yes.
It's a big a handicap for you.
I mean, it's a different approach. I use my next 10 years to grow and develop my method, my style as a coach. There are ex-players who has the chance to be pro on a court and start to think as a coach, or how they want to continue their career. As I told you, it's a different environment to grow, maybe different culture. I have a different approach. I cannot talk as a ex-pro player, but I can talk as a coach who really knows the game, because I start from the very bottom, from the youth program, and I grow step by step. And I believe right now that I'm coach of the Latvian national team, more or less I complete my picture with another plus that the experience I did this season in US with Long Island Nets.
One coach, football coach, who also wasn't a pro player, and he started training in 22, and he study. He now about 40, but he still study. And I asked him, why you are working 15 years? You was there, and he said one phrase that I like very much, because I didn't play. If I won't sit with you on one table
or the same
table, I need to know more than you, because you was there in the game. You know from this side, and I like this quote because
yeah, of course, it's a good point. To tell you the truth, what I learned during my experience is that the game change, especially in basketball, change continuously. US is an inspiration, but also in Europe we have the tendency to adjust, to adapt. So you have to be proactive, because as I told you, the style change continuously. So you have to use that kind of approach in coaching. But no matter what, one important secret for a coach is to learn from his players. Because players are the real power in the game. And those are the people who can really affect the changes. The players, not the coaches, are the person who show the direction. As a coach, you have to be a little bit on the side and be able to catch certain messages and adjust because of the messages and the tendency, because only players knows what really works on the court. You as a coach, you can suppose that choice, that strategy will work, but only players knows.
But now about this, I read about you, about your basketball style, and many times I read that it's more defensive, like very good defensive coach. And Latvian national team for me is like more run and shoot, like attacking basketball. Do you agree with this, and how you think about your style and Latvian basketball style? It can be good results together.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's wait for the game, and then we will judge. About my vision of basketball, I believe that the defensive part start from the values of the players and their desire and will to share sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
There are not good defenders and bad defenders. There are people who has a more or less desire to compete, both hands. So I expect also an average athlete or an average defender to sacrifice himself to help the team to succeed on a defensive end. Because you know how much is important to build your consistency on a defensive part, on a defensive end. I like the structured team, well organized defensively. Of course, athleticism can boost the effectiveness of your defense. On the other hand, I like the talented players because I really believe that the role of a coach is not to, to create a cage for players, but trying to give them the freedom and the opportunities. But process start from rules. So at least try to create some common language on the court and then learn the way to share the basketball. And I really like the team who wants to pass the ball each other and work together to build the best shot possible, to build high value shots, and in my vision, and that's the reason why I'm so happy to be coach here. Latvia has, Latvian players, they have a specific style, and it's good to insist so that everybody around can recognize us as a certain type of team. Of course, trying to give also my personal trademark, but I believe that we can find a right combination between a team who has a consistent defensive part and efficient offensive system.
I'm sure that before you said yes to Kaspars Ciprus and Latvian Basketbola Savienība, you analyzed games before for Latvian national team. What was the thing that you saw and this I need to change? There was something like
No,
that,
there was not something specific. To tell you the truth, I watched games. I realized that the national team was so close to achieve what they probably deserve, but for many different circumstances wasn't able to do it. We have to use that frustration as a boost and as an impulse for the future. When I watched the game, I said, okay, let's create an environment, a very humble environment, because we will start from the very low. We will start from the lower level in the qualification. And we have to realize that if we wanna put Latvian basketball back in a position where we suppose Latvian basketball deserve, we need the effort from everybody. And everybody means fans, players, management, coaches, all the people who's part of the basketball community needs to understand that that's the time to respond. And we want to respond with the weapon of the humbles and the people who suffer because of defeats, suffer because of disappointing, no matter. But the weapon you have is that desire to revenge, That's what makes me feel pretty secure and safe to jump on a difficult task, but with the support of everybody. So I don't target a specific reason in order of players, system, solution, but in order of the spirit and the common, mood.
Okay, I'm not like expert, but if all players come together in Latvia, for me it's top 5 in Europe team. Do you agree with this? Okay, no?
Better to change that point of view.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the reasons why we create a kind of a fake expectation around the national team. Forget. Let's create a style. Let's create an identity, no matter who will join the national team. Everybody has to know that since day one, they will wear the national team uniform. They have to follow a direction. And forget if you have NBA players or just domestic league players, no matter what, everybody play with the national team has to show the best version of himself. That's the point.
Yeah. Okay.
Then calendar and personal needs decide who can and who want to participate the national team. If you go to check by names, of course, it's easy to say that, it's Latvia, despite the small dimension, has incredible squad. But it's the same story everywhere. Try to think about Serbia. Serbia, they have, 30 players between NBA and EuroLeague. Okay, they were not able to beat a small country in the qualification because calendar impede players to participate. What they were missing the most? Team identity. And that's the point we have to implement. We have to increase. And the good part is that in my short experience, I already touch, select, and coach several numbers of players because I believe now I have a pretty wider vision of the level of players.
In Poland, yes, there was new surnames also, young guys when you play in Poland. For me, yes, Mishka and more. About young players, I think you watched now Under-19 World Cup Championship. What you can say about this generation of our basketball players, and did you saw somebody who maybe after one or two seasons can help national team?
It's a good question, but we enter in a pretty complicated topic. There was some good players. We have to think about the environment where they are growing and how much that environment can really help them to develop their game. Because to tell you the truth, I'm a little bit disappointed from players very young who are playing abroad, and I can't see such a great improvement from their side. Not on a basketball side, not on a technical side, not on a physical side. So maybe better to
stay in Latvia?
Just in case to create a structure in the country who can really help players to develop, because maybe what they are doing abroad is not so useful, is not so effective. And it's a point that I believe we have to keep in mind together with our other part of the basketball community. First of all, to affect the family decision, because family and parents are the people who decide and to allow their kids to travel abroad and to have this opportunity.
But I think it's like now for parents, like you said, for families, it's Porzingis is in NBA. He can go to Spain also in 15, maybe 14, 16 years. So it's like for them, like look, he did that, and now he's here. Maybe it's also not for everybody. This way is not for everybody because,
in my opinion, KP is a typical example of a huge talent. No matter what,
no matter where he was training,
no matter what, no matter where, no matter who will coach him, he will play NBA 100%. We talk about elite talent. So, of course, it's can be useful to say, yeah, let's follow the same way he did. But this is, I mean, we have to be realistic.
Yeah,
there are once in a while, you know, and KP is a kind of unique player. And no matter what, the part we have to think about is, you know, guys that age need education, need to go school, need to stay together with their friends, to grow as a person together with close to the family, teams, you know. And right now I believe Latvia is a country with some good organization who can really help to develop those players. The good point is that after World Championship, I heard that some of those guys, they are considering to be back in Latvia to achieve the next level because they realize that probably staying outside, they can't have the opportunity they were expecting. And they realize that there are some guys, for example, that being here, they are doing pretty well. If you want to name, you already mentioned Henri Mishka, that is the example how he struggled trying to have an experience abroad. And now he's building something solid here in a university team together with Guntis Enzels, that is a very talented and experienced coach, or Krister Zoriks in VF Riga, who's taking a big impulse from the responsibility that he's receiving from the structure, from the team, from the management, from the coach. And, you know, so probably because of those guys, some other younger guys can follow that example and understand how program like VEF, like Liepāja, like Ogre, like Ventspils can really help, or even a university team can really help to achieve a next level.
Can you compare like youth systems in Italy? Because, okay, in Italy football is number one, and I think maybe 70% of young guys kids go to football. Can you compare this atmosphere in Italy in basketball, how they progress? They stay in Italy or they go somewhere, Spain? They need to go outside to progress, or everything is happening in Italy?
Most of the time, players, they grow in Italy. Yes. Only in the last few years, some guys, they decide to move in other country, but only because they receive offer from very big teams, like, I don't know, Barcelona or Real Madrid, some kind of unique academy, and they decide to move there. But most of the players, they stay in Italy. Then at the age of 19, that is it's
from school to university.
Yes, it's a sort of deadline for players. You finish the youth activity and they have to decide if to enter into the pro basketball, or maybe some of them trying to go to US and play college basketball. And that's a good experience because of the language, because of the, you know, but you go there at 19 when you have a structure. You already have a structure as a person. And it's a good point. I believe it's a good experience. But I don't like to see kids leave the country too early.
Too early. We're not ready yet.
And right now, if you see at players like Polonara, Melli, Hackett, just trying to mention, or Fontecchio or Vitali, to mention some national team players who are doing a pretty good experience abroad. it seems that after they grow in Italy, they have to open their market, not to think only about playing in Italy and be protected, for example, by the rule who impose every pro team to have at least 6 Italians under contract. Now you have to open your market and have a wider vision. You are a worldwide basketball player, and if you receive offer from other country, you have to be ready to leave. And right now, I tell you the truth, being out of that comfort zone helps those people to perform more, better, to progress, and to affect the national team as well. Because right now, one of the main reasons why we are going to Olympics after so long time, I think 19 years, stuff like that, is because our best players are players who are not playing in the Italian league.
In Olympics will be 3-on-3 Latvian national team. What do you think about this sport? It's popular in Italy?
Not yet. Of course, it's more connected with exhibition activity in the summertime, but is great fun for players and a totally different approach with the game. So it's nice to watch, and it's nice to see also how players who are not so famous in 5-on-5 basketball, who they are performing. So I'm very curious to see some games from the Olympics, because I want to see, not only because of the Latvian team. For example, Italy, we have the girls team who will participate. But in general, I want to see how the game will change in the next years. As I told you, it's a different style, different approach, but for players, great fun.
Let's come back to training camp now. In August, 2 games, yes?
4 games.
4 games?
2 against Romania and 2 against Belarus.
I thought that it's like one group for one. Okay, and two teams go to qualification.
To the next round.
Yeah, next round. So what do you know now about Romanian basketball and second team? Belarus. Okay, Belarus is closer.
We know enough about them because, of course, Romania was like Latvia was involved in a European Championship qualification. They was not qualified like us. So we already watched games of their previous group. So last game was February, so it was pretty close. We know the coach, still the same. We know that he's coaching also a club there. So the core of the team is more or less with the same players, same coach. We already work in advance on their style. It's a country who already gave a passport to 3 Americans, so we have to expect that, as usual, they will select 1 American in the team. Very talented. They play high tempo basketball. They have a very skilled players. They play open. It means people especially big men, very versatile. It's a very talented team, and as I told you, it's a core because of the previous experience, having the same coach and
one club also.
And one club, and the other one is the clear statement. The clear example. Belarus is built around the Smoky Minsk team, who participate in the VTB League, and of course win every year also the Belarusian title. Same coach who will be coach of the national team. Most of the players, they arrive from the same team. So, we start to watch their games in a previous group when they destroy Albania and Cyprus. And then, of course, we are pretty familiar with the team because Minsk is playing a VTB. We know the coach pretty well. And my assistant coaches, they know the system pretty well. So we already start to work on advanced scouting. We want to prepare our team, first of all, to understand that will be not easy at all. solid teams, very well coached, and we have to give our best version to achieve.
About our squad, there is something that you want more, like in surnames in players who are now on training camp. Maybe somebody say that he can't be here now from our players.
I'm happy with the team we have. I'm happy with the players we have. Unfortunately, we already have 2 players who declined because of injury. One because injury on the court, the other one for medical reason. And it's a big, that's a big problem because we talk about 2 very important pieces in our picture.
Who? Or you can't say.
I can't say it,
Okay.
but it's up of the federation to give the official statement. But of course, it's part of a preparation. When you prepare an event, injuries or now because of the COVID, something can happen. And in some way, you as a coach and as a team, you have to be ready to respond, be flexible, adjust, and find solution. That's the point.
Sorry if I missed, but one surname I want to ask. Yanis Tim was always with the national team before, now is without club. What is, maybe you spoke with him?
Of course, several times. We are still in touch. Yanis had a pretty tough season as Dairis Bertans in Khimki. You know the story. And Yanis is in a point of his career where he really wants to understand if there are some openings for him in US. His basketball rights are for Orlando Magic. Management told him that they would like to have his presence in a summer league.
Okay.
And unfortunately this year Summer League matched completely with those games. So it was for Yanis, it was for EP14 who decided to participate the Summer League. He's another free agent player who wants to be there, trying to have a guarantee contract because he deserves after the experience to Washington to
and
have
maybe same with Radion Kuruc.
Yeah, Radi, it's a bit different situation because at the beginning he's supposed to go there, but because he signed a contract with Partizan with an open option for NBA, his position is still questionable. What I mean is maybe he can find a guarantee contract in NBA in the next 2 weeks, and maybe, but of course he needs to prepare himself for his next job.
Radion Kuruc will play. For me, is always nice and fun to watch Bradovic, how his emotion.
Let's see how they will match each other.
It's always the question. When you was young, who was the maybe like coach? What you watched, learn from him?
Yeah, for my generation, Ettore Messina in Italy was a point of reference for everybody. And out of Italy, coaches like Zeljko Obradovic, you just mentioned him, but also David Blatt, that I really appreciate as not only as a coaching style, but also the way he handled his personal, because he is very good very good to create some special connection together with his players. And then in a new generation, I believe is better to take a look on coaches like Saras Jasikevičius and Dimitri Tutis, who are giving right now as Zeljko and Ettore Messina before. Probably they are the coaches who can really show direction to the entire basketball community, especially of coaches.
It's interesting. You tell me the names, and all these coaches are very emotional. Are you emotional?
A bit.
A bit.
I'm not a kind of
Saras.
Saras, is still young as a coach. He's pretty demanding. He was like this as a player as well. He wants the best from his players, but sooner or later he will adjust a little bit, especially because I really believe that Sarah's next stop probably will be NBA. And if you want to go NBA, you can't go
speak with
like this on the sideline because, NBA, they expect a specific behavior from coaches. There is a sort of protocol.
And also, they're like NBA is a player league, not coaches league for me. Like if, for example, Sharas will be with some like LeBron, if Sharas will act like this with LeBron, it will be difficult.
In general, I told you, it's a kind of protocol. But I believe coaches like Sharas, like Dimitri Tutis, they have everything to succeed no matter where, because they are very open-minded and they have the capability to be coach everywhere.
Okay, in the end, one question what used to be in the first question. When you heard this, how to say, chance to work with Latvia, what did you think in this moment? What you heard about Latvia before, and comparing with this when you first time arrived here, what it was feelings?
It's a tough question. First, when they called me, I was in US, and with maybe my mind was totally involved on this new experience. Maybe they touch something who makes me curious. I'm in a moment of my career where probably priorities changed. I want to do something who makes me feel happy, who makes me feel curious, attracted, really motivated. And the idea to be here, trying to impose my trademark, trying to do something, starting from the very bottom, was nice to hear. And that the General Secretary, Kaspar Tsiprus, knows me pretty well because he used to play for me in the past, many years ago. And despite our tough practices, he wants me to be here. Was nice to hear. And so that's the point. Arriving here, I found a good basketball level, many talented players, as I expect. But of course, different culture, different approach, different personality. So I would like to see how, in some way, such two different plus and minus can attract each other, It's like experiment. Yeah, sort of. Let's see.
About training process, like I said before, that I was on working with one Italian coach, and for us, it also many things was like new, and the most what players didn't like, the most general thing was that before we used train 90 minutes, then when Nuncio Zavatieri came with 2.5
hours,
3 hours twice a day, and tactics, a lot of walking, like it's different in it's similar in basketball, many tactics, many like calm trainings.
Of course, we talk about clubs and national teams, so it's a different approach. As you understand, for example, have a training camp in the summer means that you have to handle athletes and players who are in a kind of resting mode. I tell you the truth, most of our players prove to be very professional because they stay active. I really appreciate the effort of the federation who organized a Stay Ready program and a previous camp together with a next generation camp who allowed me to select many players and to give players the opportunity to be in shape. First, be in a new team with the new ideas. making players a little bit suspicious. You know how pro players approach changes. I don't want to impose my style, but of course I'm trying to give a direction because I would like to see the team play the way I believe is the best, to show and to prove their talent and their qualities. But at the beginning, it's normal that the process will make players a little bit,
questionable.
Like this. Why? We don't used to practice like this. We don't used to do like that. But playing with the national team, especially summertime, you can't have a so long practice session. You have to be fast, sharp, very intense, and select. That's the most important, not to waste any kind of information. You have to give information who really matter. Because during the club experience, you have several months to work and to adjust. But with the national team, you have to minimize mistakes. Since the way to select players. So be sharp to select players, be sharp to prepare players.
I think in basketball the same like in football. It's two different works. Work with the club and work with the national team. I won't say mister because coach. What do you can say something to our viewers in August, maybe to say hello? What do you want to say our supporters, basketball supporters?
Okay, first of all, I want to say sorry because I'm not familiar with the language. Trying to become more and more familiar with your culture because I believe that it's important for me to understand the environment where I'm working and the people I'm representing. There are some special values connected together with that job and to represent a nation and so many people who loves basketball. I believe our next qualification round will be very important for many different reasons. I want to say thank you to the federation who decided to organize the bubble in Riga. Everybody who spent energy to allow the vaccinated to participate and watch games, because players they really deserve to have fans support from outside. That's something that we miss a lot in the last months because of the COVID. And we really hope to deserve their support from outside. I know maybe people here are not so, emotional like in Mediterranean countries, but I'm pretty sure that they will boost our performances as I wish.
Tas bija Luka Banki. Abonējiet kanālu. Grazie, coach. And
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you so
in
much.
August.
Thank you.
Paldies.